What's up, everybody? Welcome to Racing News Live, a Friday afternoon show covering Keeneland's big, massive card. And with me, Aaron Haltman, Mike Somich, and boy, I got to say, to start things off, what a time capsule that video is. I was watching this and going, wow, we look really young. The camera work's not that great, and there's a couple of people that aren't with us anymore. But hey, here we are. We are with you. We're glad that you're with us. And kick things off, race 7 right here at Keeneland. Michael Myers wants to know, who's everybody like in race 7? If you are watching us live, and put it in the comment section. Love to interact with you. Aaron Haltman, I'll go to you first today, buddy. How's the day going for you? Betting wise, I know that you had a couple of those price horses early. Things going well?
Yeah, up and down day. I've been right and been close to being right a few times. It just got nosed out, things like that. So not too bad of a day. I think it's all kind of in front of me as far as it's going to be a good day or a bad day while we're on the air here. We got these big stakes races, and we'll see how they shake out a little bit here, Magic, but not so bad so far.
No pressure there. That's usually how the days go. Your stronger opinions later in the card here. Yep. Mike, not to put salt in the wound, Mrs. Astor, the best by a lot or just a little in that race 5 earlier?
I don't know. She was close to the best with the 13. The 3 obviously got a pretty soft pace. Velasquez moved a little bit early into that, but I kind of understand why he moved a little bit early into the pace. It was an interesting ride to go off the rail, but the pace is what kind of forced his hand. Tried to get first run. She made a nice move around the turn, couldn't sustain it into the lane, and then kind of continued, but not with that same kick that we saw down at Gulfstream. So I thought it was a good race, but it was hoping for a little bit more from her. The pace definitely did not help her out there.
Curtis Manlow mentioning to start the pick 5, which just ended a few minutes ago, race 6 there. She's Keen singled it, got 13-1 off a 7-2 morning line, and a great effort there. It was the 3-5 Chad Brown horse on dirt, of course. That's the one that does it. Got the job done. So really in a lot of pain, Curtis Manlow says. I understand that. That would have been a really nice way for you to start that things off, but that's okay. That's quite all right.
I think if the 3 wins that race, you definitely say, well, Lady Astor and the 13, they just couldn't catch her. She got an absolute dream trip, but they did catch her. And that's where I'm like, well, she was probably second best to the 13 today, and she did run a little bit green. I agree with Somich at times, and she was asked a little too early. I agree, but still it was there for her, and just couldn't quite beat that 13. Great ride by Dettori. My goodness. He's doing pretty decent.
He's not retiring, man. He'll be back.
Well, it's interesting you say that. I think TVG, some people watch the show, Somich, because they actually talked about that after that race. It's like, I don't think he's going to retire. I think he's going to stay around. So.
No, we broke that news on Thursday on the Magic Mike show without having any knowledge or whatsoever. We're just assuming that he's just look when you're winning. You don't want to stop winning, especially in horse racing. I mean, look at what Mike Smith has done with these races where he just kind of continues riding because he gets the mounts. Dettori's having a ton of success at Santa Anita. He's winning here at Keeneland. He's having success on the turf. He's getting good mounts. It doesn't. If he's enjoying himself, why are you going anywhere?
Yeah, pretty much.
There's a lot more money to be made racing in America than there is overseas. That's why you see a lot of these young top European jockeys coming over to try and take advantage of the purse structure here. But let's move forward here. We're going to look at race 7, the Limestone Stakes. First of 3 races we're going to cover here live. We've got 5 minutes to post. Your 5-2 morning line favorite, the 5-2 favorite right now, Love Reigns, a 3-horse. No surprise there. Wesley Ward, Joel Rosario has looked good at Keeneland in the past. The other Ward taking a ton of money here, and Catherine Page wants to know, Mike Somich, Lady Hollywood, the 11, 15-1 down to 9-2. You got any love for Lady Hollywood?
Well, first off, This horse was never 15-1. Okay, that was a magical 15-1 that existed in Unicorn and Fairyland. All right, that was never going to be the actual off odds for the other ward horse here in a turf sprint at Keeneland in a stakes race, right? I mean, so let's pretend that the 15-1 never existed, and let's just look at the 9-2. It's a little short to me. I feel like this should be the horse that I'm more interested in, somewhere around that 8-1 range. I have her in 5th, so it's not like I don't think it's impossible. But for me, the post is not great. It's hard to win from the outside here at Keeneland, going 5.5 furlongs on this turf course. And you've got what I think is a significantly better ward in this spot in Love Reigns, who I was all over this horse at the Breeders' Cup. I think she's going to come out and run big here. So it's hard for me to back the other ward at 9-2 when I'm getting 5-2 on the ward that I think is the best. And 5-2, not a bad price here on Love Reigns.
Aaron, what do you think about that? I think you were guessing about 5-2 is what her off odds would be when we did do Bet Daily this morning, and she was your top pick. Still the top pick for you at these odds?
Yep, still a top pick for me here. I think she's going to be pretty tough to beat if she gets back to that race we saw at Saratoga last year. Her race at the Breeders' Cup wasn't great, but like I said, kind of had some excuses in that one. That race really just didn't set up for very well either. I can remember talking about that and thinking, my goodness, there's so much speed in this race. And a lot of horses didn't run very well in that one. So I think she bounces back. And with Somich, I do think she is the better of the two wards. It is interesting. These lines are weird, right? I mean, these morning lines are, you got to
something.
Don't look at that and go, well, I'm not so sure about that one. It's like, she probably should have been about 6-1 on this line. So bet down to 9-2. It's really not that big of a deal.
Some love in the chat for the 2-horse My Sweet Affair. Broker maiden on debut, going 5 furlongs at Gulfstream Park on the turf. Looked very nice doing it. A big step up here to face the stakes company, and as our Stephanie says, a complete cluster fook of a race. But it's 7-1, taking money off 10-1, and I read a board for the maiden debut win comes here. Still rides the horse instead of being on a ward or possibly in a Braille. So when you see that, Aaron, are you interested in the 2 at all?
Yeah, I use the 2 in the pick 4 and the pick 5, just for what you said. And it's definitely an interesting move for IRAD to get a board here. And look, I did not single the 3 in the race that Curtis was talking about, but I am singled later to Modern Games. And so when you have that single that you're very excited about and feel strongly about, you can come on here and play 3, 4, 5 horses in the spot. That's what having a logical single does for you. So, I played the 2. If I had to go too deep, maybe I'd go 2-3. I feel that strongly about it because IRAD jumps the board.
Mike, give us a price play. Is it going to be the 2? Is it going to be the 7 Alluring Angel? I know that was one that you kind of hyped up a little bit on the morning show.
Yeah, you're stealing my thunder here. Those are the 2 that I think are the price plays. And I played a 3 over 2-7, 2-7 try. I've got the 3-2 over the 3-2-7, 3-2-7 in the try. Look, My Sweet Affair, one from the 11 post at Gulfstream and immediately jumps here. IRAD decides to stay here. He has ridden the 3 before. He's ridden the 7 before, yet he ends up on the 2. I think the 2 makes a ton of sense from that perspective. And I think Alluring Angel makes a lot of sense in this spot as well. The horse is 20-1 morning line, bet down now to, 10-1 on the board. And if you go back and you look at what this horse did, turf sprinting was phenomenal. One, broke the maiden, goes right into a $450,000 stakes at Kentucky Downs, going 6.5, just misses to Dance Macabre as the favorite. Dance Macabre would have been one of the top choices in this race, then tries to stretch out twice and doesn't run poorly, runs okay in both those races. Now we're getting back to what we're good at. Jorge Abreu, one of those trainers who I really like turf sprinting, 19%, $2.55 ROI. I think the 7's a better turf sprinter. I think you're going to see a good effort from Alluring Angel today.
Aaron, from a pace perspective, at least according to time form, it looks like the 1, the 4, and the 5 all really want to gun early. You could see the 3 Love Reigns probably sitting up there as well. Does this set up for a closer? Or do you think a horse running on the front end, like we saw the first weekend at Keeneland on the turf, you still want to be forwardly placed?
Yeah, I would want to be towards the front. I wouldn't want to be way back. That's for sure. I think it's going to be won by a horse towards the front or mid-pack at worst. You just see this at Keeneland on the turf a lot. That speed is really, really strong. And so I think you want to be forwardly placed. I get it. There is a lot of speed in the race, but it's also a 5.5 furlong race on the turf. There's always going to be speed in these races, and it doesn't mean it's always going to melt down.
Shotty's tailing Mike's try on that one. Jared Rogers, Ed Burke, good to see you both in the chat. Both of those gentlemen hit really nice scores last Friday with the live show when we were doing this. So hopefully good luck to you guys. You can keep it going there. Nick Feldman, I know you were hyping up the 4 this morning. Accomplished girl, super fast opening fractions when she won at Gulfstream Park. Was able to sustain it. We'll see how that translates over to Keeneland. But again, a 4-early place horse. You just gotta hope, really, if you like the 4, you gotta hope she doesn't get sandwiched between a bunch of horses with that post position draw. But a good one. All right, Aaron, give me a try. What do you want to do? Box it, stone cold, however you want to play it.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really interesting to see how this shakes out. I think you could go a lot of different ways. I think what I'm going to do, well, I don't think I know what I'm going to do, is I'm going to put the 3 on top of the 1 to 11. I'm just going to 3, 1 to 11, 1 to 11.
Mike?
I'm playing 3 with 2-7 with 2-7. Played the 2-3 with 2-3-7 with 2-3-7, and I played the 3 with the 2 with the 4-7 4-7.
You want to take that back? The 7's about 8 lengths behind him as they broke from the gate.
That break is atrocious.
1 and 4. So it looks like the 4 is going to get out in front. So the 4, you said it on the Daily Show, popped the biggest number last time out, and there she is in a really good spot here. So we'll see.
And Love Reigns mid-pack along the rail, kind of like where she ran in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf Sprint, and chasing a lot slower horses than Speedboat Beach and the others that were in there. But not a great position for her. She's going to have to come from way off of it for this one, Aaron.
Yeah, this is not looking great for Love Reigns at all.
The 1 backed into her, too, there on the backstretch. Yeah. She lost a couple more lengths because the 1 wasn't quite going the way she wanted to. This 4 is going to be tough up front. The 3's trying to find room now. But again,
oh, my goodness.
Oh, here comes the other ward. Look at this other ward. The 3 got a horrific trip, and the other.
She's going to get second off of that trip.
Look at this! Look at this!
Wait for it!
Look at this!
Wait for it!
Oh my goodness!
Much the best.
Wow! Holy hell! That's a racehorse right there. Wow. Everybody who had Love Reigns bet singled, go buy a lotto ticket. You're never going to get luckier than today.
There's the try for you, Aaron, too. That's 3-11-2.
I'm in shock. I'm in shock.
Did the 2 get up there?
This race,
yeah, she did.
That is your first comment. You might need to check your attitude, because that was something.
Yeah, that was a monster effort from the 3.
Wow.
That was impressive.
Twice. Like, she got stopped on the backstretch and got stone cold stopped down the lane, and still was able to weave and make up ground against the second favorite in the race and the other ward horse who everyone was betting.
That was wild.
That was incredible. You know, Mike, I know you don't do the stable 'em up feature for chalk horses that win stakes races, but I feel like you still need to do a stable 'em up because of that trip. There were like 18 different times where she had an excuse to lose up to the 16th pole, and she still got the job done.
That was pretty wild. Just the fact that she was able to do that. I mean,
I can't believe
that when you watch the backstretch again, watch the 1 back up into the 3. And the 3 gets shuffled from about 4.5 to 5 lengths back to 7 or 8 lengths back. And then when you're down the lane, Rosario did everything he could to get Love Reigns to lose this race, because she got absolutely checked hard at the 8th pole, right around there, and then just somehow finds her way through this mess and gets up.
And I realized this horse was the favorite, and the favorite is supposed to be able to overcome things and still be able to win, and I get that. I gave this horse less than 1% chance of winning, turning for home. It just looked like she was just done and over with.
Overcome things is one thing.
Yeah.
Overcome that is another. Things does not even come close to define what Love Reigns had to overcome from a race ride perspective there to be able to get up and win the race.
That was crazy.
That was
crazy.
That was so. I hear Mike's phone's blowing up too, with people going, "Oh my gosh, did you see?"
I mean, I didn't expect to see anything like that today. That was, well, maybe Modern Games, but that was wild. I mean, and the willingness, like you guys said, you guys were watching her coming down the lane. It's like she got shut off. And it's like, oh my gosh, she still ran, even though she had trouble on the backside and on the turn. And like I said, it's out of nowhere. Here she comes. Yeah, Rosario, he's smiling from ear to ear. Woo, that was not good.
That was bad.
My goodness.
It's one of those where the horse wins, and I would still question whether or not you want him to ride back.
Well, luckily we don't have to worry about him tomorrow. He's going to be over at Oaklawn riding Clarier to a second place finish in the Apple Blossom. So we don't have to worry about that. Joel Rosario tomorrow. Don't worry, Vashon. I got you. We love Rosario here.
Swing, tent pole.
There you go. Got one for you.
If we were a tent pole on the racetrack, he'd run into it.
About damn near into the 16th tent pole. That was great.
Oh,
Whew. That was great. All right. Three is what was it? It was 3-11-2 or 3-2-11? How'd they come across?
3-11-2.
Okay.
I
Wow.
didn't see the trip for the 2 because I was so focused on 3 and 11 because it looked like the 11's going to win and then where's the 3? But what kind of trip did the 2 get? Do you guys have any idea? It seemed like he was flying, but I don't know.
Just a wide sprinting trip. I mean, he wheeled out and then made a run. Didn't get there.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't see anything that was detrimental to the 2 being able to win the race.
Okay. Just wondering.
The other ward got bet down to 3-1 off of a 15-1 morning line.
Just in
Morning lines
general,
are tough, guys.
Well, I mean, look, morning lines are not easy, okay? But generally, if you follow Keeneland and it's Wesley Ward and Johnny Velasquez, if you're going to make the horse 15-1, you better make sure the horse has 4 legs, right? Because the only way he should be 15-1 is if he has 3. They're going to bet it. And that's just, I think so many people that are making morning lines now they make the morning line based on their handicapping, which isn't correct. You base the morning line based on who's going to take the money. So like if the morning line maker thinks, hey, this horse in my line is 15-1, well, your line's different from the reality of who's going to take money.
Well, and let's at least put the caveat in here. Dance Macabre scratches out, which is going to lower everybody's morning line. However, 15-1 to 3-1, probably not what you would expect from that type of jump. But Dance Macabre was the second choice in the morning line, so that's going to lower everybody. But I'm guessing you would have rewritten that at 12 or 10-1 versus 3-1.
So, okay, what about Mrs. Astor in the last race, or the race before? 6-1 morning line.
There were scratches in that race as well.
Oh, come on.
The Mrs. Astor one to me, honestly, is more of a whiff because she should have been the favorite on the morning line. When you miss the favorite and it's that type of favorite, it's like, come on, what are we doing here, right? If you have a 15-1 horse that is another horse scratches out and takes more money than you expect, I'm willing to say, whatever, okay. Don't get the favorite wrong.
Yeah. End of the day, it doesn't matter, but it's frustrating when you see it every day.
It's a huge, if you're playing tournaments, handicapping the bad morning line horses matters because I bet if I went and looked at tournaments, a ton of people had the 11 because it was 15-1 morning line, and 3-1 off odds is not the horse you want in this race. No matter what horse you like or if it won, if you're playing a 3-1 horse in a 11 horse field turf sprint, which has multiple horses at 8-1 or higher that are logical winners, you can't be playing that horse. And so that is a situation where you have to be able to handicap what morning lines are fraudulent, so that you don't end up on a horse that everyone has that's a really short price. Because if the 7 did win this race or the 2 wins this race, you would much rather have the 2 at 9-1 than the 11 at 3-1. But you were looking at 15-1 and 10-1 on the morning line when you were making your decision.
Yeah, good point. Very good point there.
I just caught that American Apple, the horse that I was trying to get home underneath from the morning show. She ended up getting 4th. That's a good finish for her there. Wesley Ward, yeah, good point, CJ. 30 thoughts exactly. Wesley Ward has now entered horses in 12 races this meet, 5 wins. That's crazy. Forget how many different horses he's throwing in. When he enters horses in a race, play one of them, they're going to win. And here it was the right way to go. Did 311 exacta for $1, paying $15. Is that just, guys, you think that's because the field was so big? That seems pretty high to me considering the prices of the top two horses.
15-1 bet down to 3-1 doesn't always mean the same in the exacta pool as it does the win pool. So I would say that's my best guess on that. That is pretty high when you think it's the 2 favorites. And I always tell people, if you like the 2 favorites in an exacta, you're usually going to get paid a decent amount to bet it. So usually it's not that high. You got really good at return if you did that, and congratulations if you did. But yeah, that seems pretty high. Also, the try, $56 for 50 cents. So that's a pretty solid return on that one as well.
Yeah, one of the more Oh yeah, so that was the favorite exact. The 311 was the favorite exact at $30, but the 11.3 was paying $30 as well.
Oh wow!
So it's like you were basically getting the same price on 311 or 11.3, which shows you the value there on having the favorite on top.
Wow,
that is crazy. I saw Vashon asking, "Did we catch on Dettori?" Nope. We're all big Mrs. Astor fans. We wanted the horse that Dettori just got past at the last second there. That was a hell of a race from the 13. She drew in and Dettori got her home. But no, we're all big Mrs. Astor fans. That one still hurts a little bit.
Disappointing.
That really was, because you're only worried about the 3 for the longest time. And when it looks like she's making up ground on 3, you're like, okay. And then you see the 13 raging up. So
yeah,
you got to, situations like that, you tip your hat to the winner. It ran a very, very good race.
Well, I appreciate that Mrs. Astor at least got hammered, because I was planning on putting a monster win bet in, but sitting at 8-5, my win bet was half the size it would have been if we were 5-2 or 3-1. So we saved a little bit of money there.
Yep.
Either
you gentlemen playing the Turf Pick 3? I know it's a pretty popular one with some people in the chat. We've now through 2 legs. You got a favorite here. The Mrs. Astor didn't win earlier, so you at least skipped that favorite. But Modern Games is going to be a heavy favorite here. Anybody playing this one?
I had a very large Turf Pick 3, 137 cold. So I'm not super happy about this right now.
So stop asking about race 5 today. Got it. That's the last time we're going to talk about it today. Sorry about that. All right, let's move on, guys. We've got another race coming up. Not a stakes race, but a stakes caliber field here. Allowance horses going 6.5 furlongs on the dirt. You got a big scratch here of the is that right? No, that can't be right. The 4 scratch, didn't she? No, it is a 3. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. The 3 scratched. Yeah, that is correct. The 3 scratched. So that's a big deal, because the 2 now potentially becomes lone speed, and you see off the 3-1 morning line, the 4-1 scratches. So this seems right. She's 8-5, co 8-5 with the 9 Chi-Town Lady. Aaron, I'm going to let Mike do it first. Mike, make your case for why Travel Column is the top pick in this race.
Well, if you haven't been watching Keeneland, thanks for joining us. Glad you're now watching the show and enjoying the Keeneland racetrack. But speed's been pretty good on the dirt, specifically inside speed has been pretty good on the dirt. Travel Column, one of those horses that should have a rather easy lead. Magic mentioned it. The 3-horse My Destiny, really the only other horse with any real speed, is out of this race. Travel Colony, also a horse that can go 22 and change, 44 and change, going 7 furlongs. We're cutting back to 6.5 today, so should have no problem getting the distance here at 6.5, as this is a horse that wants to be forwardly placed going longer. So I don't think there's any issue there, and I just don't see anyone else who wants to even press, really. Everyone else wants to sit in 3rd, maybe 2nd. I mean, you could see some pressure from the 4, but the 4 is doing that, going a mile and a 16th, not doing that, going shorter distances. So I doubt you're going to see any real pressure there. The 5, the one race where you can point to, oh, that awesome race at Keeneland, there were 4 horses in it. So that's not really a measuring stick in my mind when you only have 4 horses in there. So I don't see a ton of other pressure. I think the 4 and 5s are logical horses to round out the exact and the try if you're looking for a little bit of a price underneath. And I think Aaron and I might go to war a little bit here, because I hate the 9 Chi-Town Lady. And Aaron, I believe, has the 9 on top in this spot.
Yeah, make your case, Aaron.
Well, look, Travel Column is a very weird horse for me. I have a lot of trouble trusting her in this spot. I did use her because of that pace situation, but this is now her 3rd trainer. I do like that IRAD gets aboard. That's a very good sign for me as well. But I don't know, man. She has a tendency to throw in some really clunky races. Now, she faces a pretty weak field today. I really think the only one that can give her a real run is the 9. And look, I get it. The race 2 back in the test, that was a very good race for her. Kind of an outlier, obviously. She did run okay last time out, though, in the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Sprint. Only got beat 5 3/4. Got beat by some pretty darn good horses, Somich. I mean, you look at this. Good Night Olive, obviously, was the sprinter of the year and for the females last year. Came back to win. Got beat by Echo Zulu. Very nice horse. Was in great form. Wicked Halo, a very good horse. We saw her come back and win and beat Matarea at Oaklawn. And then CC, a horse that won the Breeders' Cup the year before. So I don't really hate the horses that finished ahead of her that day. I think they're much better than Travel Column. Well, by the way, Wesley Ward is the trainer of Chi-Town Lady. So there was enough for me to go, you know what? I get it. I get the pace play is certainly the 2. I think 3. I think the 9's good enough to get up there and beat her, though.
Yeah, I have the 9 in fourth. I didn't use the 9 in any multis bet stuff. The problem for me is the race 2 back that Chi-Town Lady won was a complete and utter meltdown of a race. If you go back and you watch it, she was 8 paths out wide, passing horses, flying by them, and because everyone else was just quitting. So Hot Peppers and Maturea went out like gangbusters that day, and both just could not sustain the pace they did. Hot Peppers picked it up on a track that was favoring closers. And the other issue I have is both of those last 2 races you referenced were 7 furlongs. If this were 7 furlongs, I would probably have her higher than fourth. But because we're going 6.5, she just loses some of that time to be able to close. And she is definitely going to be coming from off the pace on a track where it just hasn't helped closers so far. So give a different track, a little bit more distance, I would be more interested in the 9. But because of the track and the distance, I stayed away from her here.
I mean, your points are valid because that is a worry. Going 6.5 is a little bit of a worry for this horse. Quite frankly, we just saw what Rosario did aboard a big favorite last out. We'll see if
you can bring up that part of this.
The 9's not going to be able to win with that trip. Spoiler alert on that one. Yeah, for me, it is a horse that usually I would try to maybe take a shot against, but boy, I couldn't choke down Travel Column either. I mean, it's crazy. Remember when Travel Column was Brad Cox and was 7-2 to win the Kentucky Oaks? Not that I bet her that day, but still, you remember that? It's crazy. And now it's like she's fallen here to an allowance where it's like, yeah, I mean, she should win, but I'm not sure. And it's weird. 3rd different trainer now as well. So I get it. I think it's got to be one of these 2, though, right? I mean, I don't know. I've got a bad feeling about the rest of these. They're not very good in here.
Yeah, if you're trying to like price hunt, to me, the 4 and the 5 were the other 2 that made some sense because I think they're going to be a little more forwardly placed, and at least they have some interest in running over this course. We've seen it with the 5 before. Again, it was a 4-horse field, but it was the best race of the horse's career. This is not a group of world beaters.
It's not. The 5. I would have liked to seen something out of the horse last time out. First time off the layoff, okay, whatever. Second off the layoff, maybe it was just the sloppy track. I don't know, but it's like wasn't really competitive. That's 3 straight races. The 5 has really been non-competitive. Now, again, maybe we wake up, but I just, I couldn't do it.
But who's the sire?
Well, Violence. Okay. Violence. So what?
It was a great horse.
Whenever Mike asks who's the sire, you should it's an automatic answer.
Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry for not making it just automatic. But, to the 5's credit, the 1 really hasn't been competitive in 4 straight. The 2 hasn't been in 2 straight. The 4 has been okay. Maybe that's one to take a shot at. The 5 hasn't been competitive. The 6 hasn't. 7 hasn't. The 8, sort of, but it's been on synthetic. And then the 9. So who do you really have to beat?
So are you advocating for the 9-2 Colt Exacta? Is that what I'm hearing?
To me, they round the corner and the 2's ahead and the 9's making the move, and it's just who's outlasting who.
Yeah, let's venture over to the probable pools then. Let's see what our friends at Express Bet are saying about this Exacta. The 2-9 Exacta is your favorite, paying about 4-1.
Okay, I don't love that.
It's a little shy.
What's the 9-2 paying?
About 4-1.
Okay, so
the doubles 2-7 is paying $2.35, and the 9-7 is paying $3 for a buck.
There's nothing you can do.
No,
the last race there was plenty of options, and we got it. This race, I mean, I don't know what you do if you like the 2 and the 9.
I played a large double into the 2 here, so that's how I bet this race. I played a 3-2 double. Yeah. I do think you could try and play tries here if you like someone in third. If you like, I mean, because I think 2-9 is your most likely outcome, is it runs 2-9 cold, and then you try and say, okay, the 5 with that race at Keeneland, I can put him in third. The 4, who's going to be forwardly placed, I can put him in third. If you like a different horse in here, you can put that horse in third. You're probably getting, I would say, 12 or 13-1 with the 5 in third in this try 2-9-5. I I mean, it's somewhere around that range if you're trying to find a bet there.
I mean, you can't, like the last race, I put a horse on top of 3 horses on top of 3 horses. You can't do that here.
No.
So that's the difference of like reading the tote board, looking at the horses you like, and then understanding how to bet that race, right? You got a large field, you got a lot of prices, you can play more horses. Here, you're right. 2-9 over 5, probably you're going to have to play it straight. You're going to play straight try. Or if you want to stay with the exacta and get 3 or 4 to 1, you just have to play it straight and make that decision. 9 over 2, 2 over 9, and be okay with the fact that you can't box it. If you get it wrong, you get it wrong. But that's the only way you can really play it where it makes sense, for the expected return that you need to get on a horse wager.
I mean, you could play like and you pick your denominations here, but you could play a $40 exacta 2-9, and then a $10 exacta back 9-2. And if it finishes 9-2, you break even. If it finishes 2-9, you make some money.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the buying that insurance on that. I don't hate that at all. But I think the 2's not going to win. So I'm just going to go that $40 exacta 9-2.
This is the beauty of horse racing, right? We get to disagree about how this thing's going to go.
Well, think of it like this. I played $1 trifecta in the last race, and it cost $6, right? And it came back 112. So I'll take 40 of it and try this.
Yeah.
Shotty's giving her superfecta. Oh, that's Dennis's. That came in at the wrong time. Shotty superfecta 2-9 over 2-9 over 4-5, all for 10 cents. That's paid $2. It's a $2 total cost there. That's one way to try to make some money. See if you can get some prices to come in. Let's talk about the 7. Joe brings up the 7, Chitara. Any love for Chitara? She's got the win at Keeneland. She's got a couple of wins, including a stakes, going 6.5, 7 furlongs, and you're getting a big square price on her, Mike.
Yeah, you are. I didn't love her, but I wouldn't talk you off her in the 3rd or 4th spot. I think that's a horse that's definitely in the competition range. I want to go back to the betting side of this real quick. So Shoddy, I like this, but if you're betting the all button in any position, you should probably be playing it shorter as well. So like you should have an additional superfecta that's 2-9 with 2-9 with 4-5 with 4-5. That'll only cost you like what, 40 cents. Mm-hmm. So that if your opinion hits, you make more money. It's the same reason why, Dennis, I would not play the 2-9 with 2-9 with all try, because if the 4 or the 5 comes in third, you make less money than if you had just bet the 2-9 exacta. And so you're basically trying to hope that a long shot hits. Now, if you play 3 separate tries and your last one is 2-9 with 2-9 with all, and your other 2 are, let's say, 2-9 with 2-9 with 4-5, and then 2-9 with 2-9 with 4-5-7, and then 2-9 with 2-9 with all. That makes more sense because you're pressed to the horses you actually like in those spots. But just slamming the all button is actually going to cost you money long term versus be a profitable bet in these type of spots.
That's a good point. Aaron, is there any other horses we haven't talked about that you wanted to touch on? Let me go to the 1 horse, because Dennis has brought this up a couple of times. 30 to 1 morning line bet down to 13 to 1. How much of that is just because it's Johnny V and how well he's been riding? To me, this horse is going to be at the back with Chi-Town Lady. If I've got to pick between one of those 2 horses that might actually win, it's not going to be the long shot.
Yeah, fair point. I'm surprised the horse has gotten bet this hard so far, but 30 to 1 horses in stakes races usually do take a little bit of money. Look, I think your point with the 1 is fair. I think that's where I landed on it as well. It's like, well, if I want a closer, I don't think that's the one. The deal is it's second off the layoff, and the 7 is also second off the layoff. So you get in these kind of races where it's like, yeah, this is kind of wide open. That's an angle that you could use. Okay, well, maybe because you're looking and you're saying, okay, if a horse can improve here, they can beat they can beat these other horses. Well, the 1 and the 7 both have that kind of angle to them. But the problem for me with the 1, I just haven't seen a lot of races that are going to win this race from her. Where the 7, maybe, right? 7 ran okay last out. Maybe could get a little bit better today. So that's how I looked at it. I don't really want any part of the 1. Catherine, by the way, says the 2 looks great in the paddock. The rest look meh. So, I mean, again, don't care a lot of times about that, but at a race where you're kind of debating, that does kind of factor in.
Well, and Paulo Lobo is one of those Keeneland guys too, right? It seems like his horses just run better at Keeneland, that he has these ready for this specific meet. And so I'm not shocked that he has a horse that looks great in the paddock here when it's the first time in his barn.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
And same with Wesley Ward horses, right? Who's the 9's trainer here as well. He obviously points toward this meet. Magic just gave you the stat. You have specific trainers that just look at Keeneland and want to win here, and both of the favorites have those trainers in this spot.
Yep.
Very beautiful, the 2-horse. Lots of really nice kind of a gray blended coat there on the 2.
Look even prettier in the winner's circle, Magic.
That's very true. Yeah, with the nice cash ticket there. Keep putting your tickets and what you want to do in the chat. I saw Mark Elliott says he's going to do 2/4-7 with the 9 in third, try and split up the favorites. That'll pay pretty well if you can get the one of the 2 favorites down there in third.
I don't hate that strategy. And the 9 to me is like, Aaron, you're interested. Like, if the 9 or the 2 were more likely to finish third, which one would it be?
Yeah, probably the 9.
Because it just isn't able to float, right? Like, that's
the thing about the 2. It's if it gets the expected trip that we think, and you have to play that it is, because that's what we think, so that we have to play that opinion. The only horse that can really pass the 2 if she gets lonely should be the 9.
Yeah.
So I agree with that logic. I think, Mark, that's smart. And the other thing is, you get the 2 and the 9 out of that top 2, you're going to juice up the payout, obviously. So you got to take your shot at it. And I think the way Mark did it, even though I don't agree with who you put on the top pick, I can't look at your bet and think, oh, no, don't do that. I think that's smart.
Yeah, there's a logical way to get to that outcome, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. If that happens, nobody's going to be shocked. Well, some people might. I'm not going to be shocked.
Real quick, Aaron, who do you like in the last?
In the last,
because you do have a pick 3 here. I mean, Modern Games is going to be heavily singled in the next. I have a little bit of interest in the 2 and the 3 if you want to try and beat Modern Games, but I don't think it's very likely. So I'll probably, I have a pick 4 going without Modern Games and then one with Modern Games. Is there anyone in the last you feel like you can single so you could try and play just a cold pick 3 here as well for some value?
I don't think you can single any horse in the last. I think it's pretty wide open. I think Shibwe is a horse that makes sense in that last race. You know, this is a horse that's been close. He used to be owned in our fantasy league, actually, by Shoddy and Davey, but ended up dropping him in. He's been really close. He's another one. I think he'll be on the lead. He's getting IRAD back aboard or aboard for the first time, I should say. So I thought he was interesting a little bit. I mean, if you're saying, hey, you got a single one, I couldn't do it because you also have the 8.
Yeah.
Hasn't ran like great, but got beat by Mage, got beat by Shesterkin. Those aren't bad horses. So 8-10, I was pretty chalky in that last race.
Yeah, I have the 8 on top. I had the 10 in second. So we're very similar there. I had the 1 in third, 15-1 McGregor on the rail for Mott and Alvarado, who I think has some speed and could get the lead. So that would be the upset the apple cart type horse. I would probably play the 8, but I don't really want to play a chalk pick 3 because that's just, you need to beat one of the chalks to get the proper payouts in any of these bets.
Exactly. And so with that being said, I know Asmussen's not doing well so far at Keeneland, but the 3 was the other horse for me, that 8-1 that is interesting. I am a huge fan of First Mission. We'll talk about that tomorrow on the show. This horse got beat by First Mission last time out. Maybe it's second time going along. We see some improvement from this horse. Got to be a little bit more forwardly placed. Was 8-1 that day, so I get it. It wasn't like this horse was overly high, but he was a big price because First Mission was a pretty short price there. So I thought the 3 was kind of that oddball that might, jump up and run a better race second out.
Asmussen Rosario, what could go wrong?
I know, and it's I said it on the Daily Show earlier this week, and it's just Asmussen just really struggles at Keeneland, and it's weird. He didn't used to, but boy, does he struggle the last couple of years here.
The 7, by the way, was second in that race that you were referencing for Pursuit of Power, and was the other Godolphin homebred chasing down First Mission in that race. The problem I have with the 7, I like the horse in general, but the way that Keeneland's playing, I'm just afraid the horse in his 2 starts so far was, 6, 7, 8 lengths back early on. Even going 2 turns, especially with that short stretch at Keeneland, is going to need to be a lot more forwardly placed to have more success here. The 1, Mr. McGregor, is real interesting. You talked about Mike with Mott and Alvarado on the rail. Could be not necessarily lone speed, but definitely should get that lead, especially when the 8 and the 10, the other speed horses will be having to cross over a little bit. So that'll be an interesting one as well. 2 minutes to post now, 7-5 now on Travel Column. And I saw the track handicappers for Keeneland on their live feed. Every single one of them has the 2 on top, most of them with the 9 in second. So it's sounding like a pretty formful race. I try and look through here. We didn't talk about the 8 Praise and Honor. Jonathan Wong having more of a presence in Kentucky now. His main owners, Tommy Town Thoroughbreds, are kind of shutting up shop in California. This horse has only been on dirt once in the last year and didn't do that well at Laurel Park. Was never really involved, but this will be second start now for Jonathan Wong since he took over the training. Aaron, as far as the long shot goes, could this horse hit the board 24-1?
I mean, yes, in the sense that any of them could hit the board. You know what I mean by that? Like, it's like, if you're going to group them all together, then the horse isn't for me. If it is for you, I don't want to talk anybody off, 26-1 now horse, but I couldn't make much of a case for this horse. Going to need to see some real improvement, I think, to have a shot in this one.
Well, it kind of falls in that same boat with the 7 and with the what was it, the 1 who's second off the layoff as well, where you're like, oh, well, maybe they take a step forward and can pick up the pieces. Like I could see why. Again, I could see why people would want to make an argument for it, but I agree with Aaron. Horse isn't really for me. Yeah.
Yes, the travel column was trained by Brad Cox, and like I said, was 7-2 to win the Kentucky Oaks. Went down to Fairgrounds and won a couple of races. Clairiere was a horse that beat her as a 3-year-old coming in to that Kentucky Oaks, and just completely fell off form. Then went to Mott, didn't do a ton, and then went now here to Lobo. So we'll see what happens with this horse.
Took a long layoff too, almost over a full year between that Cox to Mott break as well. So you got to wonder if something happened there too.
I would imagine, there's something going on there for sure.
6-5 now. Price keeps getting shorter and shorter on this 2 horse.
Well, I think everybody sees that speed and that lone speed aspect, and they're going to pound it. And then, like Magic said, it does affect the public wagering when every handicapper there on that Keeneland screen does have that 2 picked. So, people that are watching will go, okay, well, if they all got it, I'm going to go ahead and do it. Look, I get it. I still think the 9 will beat her, but we'll see.
All right, final bets. I'll do a 2-5 exact as they're loading in the gate here.
Give me a 9-2.
It's the 9-2 is now paying $11.44 for $2. I'll take the 2-9. It's paying $10 for $2 right now. So getting 5-1 on the 2-9. That's enough for me to think it's not a bad bet.
Yeah, not bad either way.
2-5 paying 14, so really not that much difference off of that. Oh, that was for $1. You were saying for $2, weren't you, Mike?
Yeah, those were 2. Yeah, so 5-1 on the 2-9, 6-1 on the 9-2, 14-1 on the 2-5.
All right, get Chi-Town late. She didn't want to load. Now she's in. Get everybody in the gate. Good luck, everybody, with your bets.
It'd be interesting to see if Rosario tries to keep her closer today.
He didn't.
Don't.
No.
Yeah, that may not have been his fault.
7 and 8 forwardly placed 2. Just put herself right on the lead, though.
Yeah, not getting too much pressure. The 7 backing off in second right now. Jockey has heels up.
They're coming back to her a bit.
Yep.
Yeah.
7.
23. Not fast.
Not fast at all.
And now she's pulling away into the turn.
Yeah, if you can't win from here,
yeah, she should win pretty easily. The 8's starting to make a move here. That Jonathan Wong horse trying to make up some ground on the outside.
Yeah.
9 2 hit a wall, or is I read just letting her breathe?
I think he's letting her breathe.
I think she's trash.
She slowed down real fast.
Yeah, she did. 46 and change.
She's still not really moving that much on her. I don't know if that's good, though. She's not moving.
No, he's not asking. She's got nothing.
No, she sucks.
It's good.
Get up.
Wow.
9. Too bad the 9 sucks too. Damn it. Yeah. The 8's going to win this thing at 41-1. Nope, 7's coming back.
Another.
No,
wow.
That's close.
8-7-9-1.
Yeah.
8-7-9-1.
Wow. Well, that really makes me mad because that's why I did not think Travel Column was all that great. She didn't fire, but then the 9 can't get up there. So
yeah, we were both right and we were both wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
They went almost 7 seconds that final. I mean, the 8's goofy, changing leads back and forth. That's a bunch of bad horses.
Yeah.
They went 23 seconds for the opening quarter. They went 46 for the half, which is not fast for 6.5 of Keeneland. Then they go 24 plus seconds, and then they close in 7. I mean, that was a very slow race.
Oh, yeah. To me, if you had the 7, you got to feel just awful because I thought the 7 ran huge. I mean, the 8 is just a horse that was tough to get to it. The 7 was one you could have got to.
Yes, I agree with that.
Yeah.
All right. I got to bounce, gentlemen. It's been fun. Enjoy the 3rd race, and we'll see you guys soon.
Awesome.
Right.
Thanks, Mike.
Goodbye.
There he goes. That was it. He said, all right, Jonathan Wong won that race. I'm done.
He said, well, that's been a lot of fun, but I'm out of here.
Yeah, I think fun, that's the F word he was yelling in the backstage there before he fully left there.
Well,
wow.
We talked about this race, and we basically said they all aren't very good. So when that happens, that's what can produce a big time payout for you at times,
Everybody in the chat's feeling our pain too.
If the 7 wins, I think people are happy because there were a lot of horses, a lot of people that like the 7, but like I said, you just look at that 8. The 8 was in good form. That's the deal. But still, the dirt races on the 8, they had been pretty darn bad.
I keep looking. I'm looking at the 8 horses past performances. I'm like, what did I miss? What did we miss with the 8 horse?
And he's right here. If you go 117 and change, anyone can win at that point.
That's true.
He's right. Or he or she, I don't know who you are, but King, so it'd be he. When that happens, it just becomes a cluster. You know what, right? Yeah.
A couple people say they need the 7. Does that mean you had the 8 here, or was people alive? Okay.
Okay. I don't know what that was, but
you don't know how to throw things. It wasn't that bad of a.
No,
we lost the bet.
It's a wall on me, so that's how today's going for me.
Somebody on YouTube, rewind like 10 seconds and see what happened in the background. Let us know. We're curious. What happened? Is Heather off screen and she
like a picture fell off the wall.
Heather got mad at you for messing that one up.
Yep. She said, "Why did you bet somebody that trifecta winnings on that stupid exacta with those 2 mules?" Because I'm dumb. Okay, because I'm dumb. Yeah. No, it wasn't the cat, Shoddy. It was. She's not in here, so I don't know.
Go.
Yeah, Ghost
got pissed. That's good. All right. Well. You want to move on to the next race? I really don't. There's nothing else I even want to talk about from this one.
Well, yeah, we could move on for sure.
Next up, the feature race of the day, and I've been looking forward to this one. Although that almost kind of dampened my excitement a little bit with how that went. But we're back on the turf. We get to see our boy Modern Games. The 7 horse is back. If you're not familiar with him, he is 3 for 3 in North America. Won the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf as a 2-year-old, even though we couldn't bet on him to do so. Wins the Woodbine Mile at Woodbine last fall to get him prepped for the Breeders' Cup Turf Mile over this course and distance. Won it with a little bit of a hard trip. It was some of the best absolute turf milers in the world. He's not really facing the best turf milers in the world in this spot, but there are a couple horses that are interesting. So first, tell me about Modern Games, what you liked about him, and then from an exacta perspective, who you want to pair him up with.
You want me to tell you what I like about Modern Games? Everything. I think he's one of the best horses in the world. I think when he comes over here, he's shown just how much better he is than all the other horses here. He's just fantastic. I think there's a couple angles you play here as far as you got to pair him up with something. You got to just play him over somebody in an exacta here. Because what is he right now? You may have said it, but he's 1-9. So
1-2 right now.
Yeah.
1-9. Okay.
Yeah, it's 1-9 now. So you can't play him to win, obviously. Look, I think people, again, they're going to gravitate towards a horse like Emmanuel. They're going to say, well, Emmanuel's going to get on the lead. He'll be really tough to pass. I can't argue that, right? I think if you're going to try to beat him, it's a pace presence like Emmanuel. and maybe he can take him gate to wire. I went a different way. I went with a horse I didn't think would take as much money, even though I think he'll take some. Obviously, Dr. Zimpf for me was one. He made his debut last time out in a loaded Gulfstream Park Allowance race, United States debut, I should say, in a loaded Gulfstream Park Allowance race. It was a stakes caliber type field, and he just circled them like they were standing still. You look at his international form, it's pretty solid. He does have a Group 3 win, on the resume. Kind of just think he's a little bit better than these American horses. So I'm going to go 7-5 straight exacta. I think it's going to take an international type horse to beat Modern Games. I don't think he can do it. Don't get me wrong. But I think he's good enough to run up for second. So I went 7-5. Let me look at this real quick. The probables are out. A 7-5 exacta is paying $9 for $1. Perfect. That's what I want. We'll see what happens, but I'll take the 9-1 or the $9 for $1 versus the 5 on Emmanuel.
Another horse that's 9-1 and one that I know Mike Somich is the 2 Up to the Mark for Todd Pletcher, Ira Ortiz Jr. going to ride this horse. And since he switched over to the turf, this seems to be clearly what he needs to be doing. On Pegasus Day in an allowance race, wins a mile allowance by 4 lengths, looked extremely impressive that day. Came back at a higher level allowance, going a mile and a 16th, and again rallied from off the pace to get the win. Aaron, my biggest concern with him is that you could play this horse definitely underneath. Even without Modern Games in here, he's kind of up against it from a pace perspective. There just really isn't a lot of speed for him to close into.
It's going to be really tough. Yeah, but I don't disagree. I like this horse. And, it is a situation, if you don't have Modern Games in the race, you do kind of look at this and go, okay, Up to the Mark, right there with a chance, right? So, yeah, if you want to put that horse in second or third, I'm not going to talk you off of it. What are the odds right now on him? He's, let's see. I'm all over the screen here. He is up to 10-1. Well, I mean,
yep.
Like I said, underneath makes sense. By the way, $3 turf pick 3 pays $153 to Modern Games.
That is really impressive. I saw somebody mentioned that in the chat earlier too. Wish I could give you credit. I saw that come up and I thought you were guessing, but as soon as you said 153, I thought, nope, that's actually what the real answer is. That's got to be because Mrs. Astor got beat, right? Otherwise, this thing is paying pennies to Modern Games in here.
Yeah, but you think about it, you go 3-4 deep, let's say in that first one, and then you could single the next 2 legs, and you don't have much on that ticket, and you're alive to something decent. So, I see people chiming in with different exactas they're going to take. If you want to play that, like I said, In Love, the 6 horse there, that's a big price. But look, underneath it can get a little bit wild. I know I talked to Dennis Trusty a little bit earlier in the day, and he said, hey, I think Emmanuel could get out in front, and he's going to be really tough to catch. And he might play him to win, but again, if you didn't want to play him to win, you want to play the exacta, it's paying $5 right now. I don't hate it. You got to pick your angle for second. I kind of went with the newest shooter to the stakes action here in the United States as my angle for second, but can't really talk you off some of these other angles that people are throwing out into the chat right now.
Let's talk about the pace a little bit more. Do you agree that Emmanuel will go to the front? Because from a time form perspective, Shea Pierre, that's the one that's going to be off gunning away. And you've got Flavian Pratt aboard. And if you said Flavian Pratt on a horse that's got a 11-point speed advantage according to time form over to the next best horse, which is actually Dr. Zimpf, not Emmanuel. Does that concern you? Or are you worried about Modern Games? Or do you think he is just that elite? It doesn't matter.
It doesn't really concern me. I don't see the 3 being able to hold him off no matter what. So that doesn't overly concern me. I do think the 3 gets out to the front. And look, with Emmanuel, we've seen him run a lot better this year coming from out of it. I know he went gate to wire on a lot of his races early, but this year he's been in 6th and 5th and have rallied to win. So I kind of think today he's more in that 2nd, 3rd spot, but I don't think they'll send him to the front. I think they'll kind of hold him back just a bit, kind of track the cheap speed, what they hope will be the cheap speed of the 3. So I kind of see as like the 3 is out there, the 4 is in 2nd, a couple of links off, and then we kind of go back from there. With the pace and the lack of speed after that 3 horses like Modern Games, who's kind of usually up there in like 8th, 9th, I think they'll be mid-pack in this one. There's not a ton of speed in this race.
No, I got to go back to Chris Manella had a great comment. Charlie Appleby's my favorite trainer in all of horse racing. I met him a couple of times. He's just a really swell, nice guy. And then you look at what he does when it comes to North America. If you throw out the times when he beat himself, so had multiple horses in the last 2 years in North America, he's got 17 of 31 wins with 17 wins from 31 races with a higher than $3 ROI. 14 of those 17 wins, grade 1 racing. Like this guy comes over and just beats the living what out of people in these grade 1 races. It's incredible, Aaron.
He really is. And, he's got a horse tomorrow with the Moonlight who's looks like up against it from a pace standpoint in Italian. Really nice horse for Chad Brown, and a horse that has competed at the highest level against the highest, caliber horses. But you stop yourself when you go, okay, I'm going to load up with a single or whatever. And you think, well, Appleby's brought this horse over, probably going to run pretty well. So that kind of scared me off of just singling tomorrow, because you're right. He doesn't come over here just to mess around. When he comes over here, he's pretty much loaded. So, to bring Modern Games over is going to be, it tells you they're serious.
I was, I'll say, very pleasantly surprised, but I was very surprised when I saw the Keeneland note saying that Modern Games was coming over, because I would have sworn after winning back-to-back Breeders' Cup races, Godolphin bring, the number 1 breeding operation in the world, you would have thought Modern Games would just go off and retire. It's not uncommon for them to do that with a star 3-year-old colt like that. He's back at this point, and when you see they come into races like this where you've got $1 million purse, or what are we running for in the Maker's Mark? 100,000. I'm looking at the wrong race. What are we running for in this race?
Is it 700? I don't know if it's $1 million or not.
$600,000.
$600,000. Yeah.
Still a lot of change. 60% of that's going to be very nice. That's just oof. It's so great to see him. You'd love to see American breeders do this a lot more often.
Well, yeah, exactly. And I definitely enjoy the races. Obviously now we're getting them a little bit more often, but I enjoy races like the Breeders' Cup so much, because you get to see horses like this and trainers like this, and how, differently they do things, and how they do things the same as us as well. And you kind of see what's going on in other places, and kind of opens your eyes a little bit. And, they bring a cavalry charge a lot of times, and you get the jockeys over here too. It's fun. And I think we've got that with the turf racing, the big turf racing here. And now the dirt racing, you got those Japanese runners that are coming over a little bit more and more magic. And so that's kind of fun as well. No hate from me. I enjoy watching their horses run. It's pretty nice to see.
Joe Chadbourne had a great question here a few minutes ago. At what price do you think Modern Games is bettable to win against this field? He's floated up to 1 to 5, but it's probably not going to get higher than that a whole lot.
I can't, Joe. I can't sit here and tell you to bet any horse at 1 to 5, and I don't think you're going to get better than 1 to 5. So betting that horse to win doesn't make sense. If you love them, you need to find that second horse. Just pound that exacta and try to get a juiced up price there, 4 or 5 to 1, 6 to 1, or higher, depending on how you go. But I don't bet horses to win ever if they're 1 to 5, 2 to 5. So I can't tell you to do it. I think if he floats up to 1 to 2, if that floats your boat, go ahead and do it. I would rather try to make some money on the exacta though.
It's a lot easier to get 60% return on a 3 to 5 than 20% on a 1 to 5. That's a huge gap there, or even 40% on 2 to 5. Yeah, I'm with you on that one.
I'm trying to think. Squire Creek last week at Keeneland was the horse I really liked. I thought the horse would be 4 to 5. If I liked another horse with him, even at 4 to 5, I probably would have bet him in the exacta, right? Because it just makes more sense to try to get 4, 5, 6 to 1 and play him on top of another horse in exacta. But in that situation, I only bet the win because I hated all the other horses in the race, and I thought this guy's going to win, and I just don't know who to put in that second spot. So you got to be a little bit flexible. Here, I've got an angle. I really like this Chad Brown horse, Dr. Zimp. So, even if Modern Games is 4 to 5, I still probably would try to pair in that exacta because I've got a strong angle for second. Whether it hits or not, at least I've got a strong opinion on it, right? So that's kind of the difference of the two races here, and kind of how I kind of see it shaking out, betting-wise.
Any love for the 1 Speaking Scout? I know that The Grand Motion Louis Saez, it's not connections you readily want to discount. You're getting a very, very nice 17-1. But other than the 4-horse, the 2-horse, who's now down to 4-1, taking a lot of money up to the mark. This seems to be the only horse really holding steadily to what the morning line was, a 15-1. Speaking Scout underneath to get third, possibly second. Any interest?
Ran pretty well last time out on the Pegasus turf. Again, I just look at this horse. I don't think it's a challenge to win, but if you want to kind of get crazy underneath, I don't think it's the craziest thing I've ever seen. To be clear, he's not for me. I'm not playing this horse. But you look at the past resume here, 4 races, 2 wins, a second and a third. They've all come against Stakes Company. You might look at that and say, well, should this horse be 16-1? I don't know, maybe not, right? So I get it. I get if you kind of want to try to spice it up and take a shot with something. Let's see, the 7-1 exacta paying $11. Wow, that's crazy. I thought I'd pay a little bit more than that. To me, I'd take the 7.5 for $9 versus the 7-1 for $11.
I was looking back to see how have horses done coming out of that race. I know Atone had a terrible race out of that one. Yeah. Masterpiece also was not well out of that. Yeah, which is interesting because that was a huge Grade 1 turf race that attracted a lot of attention and is built there to, just like the Pegasus World Cup, to see those Breeders' Cup style horses come back and at least make one more start before they go off to the breeding shed or anything like that. Yeah.
Well, let me just say, we knew going in that wasn't a good race this year, though.
Ivar was second. He is a miler, and he almost won a mile in an 8th race.
Well, and Atone is a very nice horse. I don't want to be – I'm trying to choose my words. He's not a Grade 1 type, right? Like, he's more of a Grade 2, Grade 3 type. He's very nice. Don't get me wrong. I like Atone, and I would love to own him, and I speak no ill will of him. But when he wins a Grade 1 and he kind of gallops away from him, you kind of know that the caliber of that race wasn't great.
I saw, switching gears here, Jared Rogers, I saw in the chat, hit the exacta in the try at Oaklawn last race. I was trying to pull up to see the payouts for that. Dollar exacta, dollar exacta paid $571, and the 50-cent try paid $2,600, and he hit that with the 612 exacta and the 612.10 try. That is... Woof, those are some prices there, Aaron. I'm sure you had that one as well, right?
No, I didn't have that one, but I was watching that one. Jared, congratulations. That's a great hit. I was watching it, and the big favorite ranges up to the 6-horse who ends up winning and makes this thing balloon. Ranges right up, and I'm thinking, all right, the 5's going to pass the 6, and then the 6 just put them away and just, dominated down the lane. So that's a really, really good hit. Congratulations on that one. And like I said, you probably were a little bit nervous, and then when they made the turn, you're like, "Oh, cool! I'm all good in this one." So that was a good call.
Hey, Jared says got his Derby bankroll, going to go to Kentucky this year for it. Jared, I feel like I'm going to take a little bit of credit for this. I feel like I'm good luck for you. These live shows are good luck for you. Every time you're in the chat, whether it's the race we're talking about or something, you're hitting for all sorts of money. So congratulations, that's pretty awesome.
Let's I wasn't here last week, but you said he hit last week. He hit this week. I mean, that's 2 for 2. So very good, very good. By the way, not Oakland, Aqueduct, alive in this pick 5. They're loading, so we might as well watch it. Sure. $40,000 maiden claimers. I don't know if you want to analyze this one or not, but 1, 6, 7, 11 would be good here at Aqueduct.
Aqueduct. What race number is it?
Number 8.
Number 8. Okay, I'll pull up the Aquabase. Aquabase. It's Aquabase when it's Aqueduct.
So if we can hit this, we'll hit 2 pick 4s and a pick 5 today. So that would be a good day at Aqueduct. But I know how this goes. Last leg, Naira. We'll see.
Remind me, who is it that you said you need here?
We need the 1, 6, 7, or 11.
1, 6, 7, 11. No love for the 5 Epirel Spritz with Jose Ortiz aboard for Kelly Breen, huh?
Okay, well, talk the 5 right into the winner's circle there, Magic.
It's just Jose Ortiz is at Aqueduct when everybody else is having fun at Keeneland. He's still up there. It's I don't know. I'd kind of lean towards that horse just without even having the PP. Just go, well, 12. But nobody likes the horse. He's double the morning line. Or she's double the morning line odds.
Well, he took the horse back to last, which it's a turf race, so that may not be the worst thing, but took her back to last on purpose, kind of held her up. So we'll see how it goes. The 1 is out in front. So, let's see, the 7 is in second. 6-11 mid-pack. So, I mean, we're sitting good. Oh, gosh, 22-9 opening. 22-9 to mile 16th. Well, maybe the 6 or 11 can win. That's pretty fast.
Are there 3 horses there? I just pulled it up. Yeah, there's the 7 from the far away angle. The 1 and the 7 blended together for my eyes there. 7's pushing her pretty good. Now he's got her head in front.
Yeah, we'll see. I like the horses that are stalking right now more than the ones that are up there, but we'll see what happens. 46 and change, going a mile 16th on the turf, $40,000 claimers. So
I do think that your 6 horse, I think she's sitting in a great spot. If these horses come back to her a little bit, she's going to make her move. Is that the 3 horse coming with her?
It's the 3 coming with her. The 6 is my only shot, basically, because the 11 got shuffled bad. Oh, God. Well, it was fun watching it. 3's going to win. 5's going to win, actually. Magic. Here comes the 5.
She's not, but for a second there, I thought, uh-oh.
Oh, is it 3?
I just put the 5 in the... No. 6 is fighting. 3 just had a better launch in it. 43-1. Well, sure.
Well, that's why I'm about done with these pick 4s and pick 5s. Spoiler alert. I've kind of been keeping track of different ROIs and stuff, and I honestly think I'm going to change the Rockets up to more of a rounded product versus a pick 4 and pick 5, because it just seems like every day I look at this and I go, God, I'm all over these races and I'm missing pick 5, and it's just like, if you bet doubles and pick 3s during this stretch, it's like you're making way more money. So anyway.
All right, let's head back to Keeneland.
Yes,
better results, I think, over here.
Yeah, that was my fault completely.
That's okay. Jared Rogers brings up In Love, Paulo Lobo. Paulo Lobo didn't have the good stuff last time, but let's see. She's 38-1 here. He is 38-1. God, I hate this horse's name. I feel like Mike Somich talking about it.
Oh my God.
Vince Cheminade going to be in the saddle for In Love. Has run well at Keeneland in the past. I think won the Keeneland Turf Mile it's been a couple of years, but came over and did that. Also, last time was in an allowance, going slightly longer and got second, beating a length. In Love at 38-1. It feels like, I know Modern Games is taking all the money, but 38-1, second to last shot on the board, feels like that's a little too big of a price to pass up.
Yeah, if he can kind of turn back the clock, so to speak, right? I mean, we have seen this horse run good enough to compete at this level. It just hasn't been a while, or haven't seen it in a while, but longest shot on the board, or no, second longest, I guess. I didn't use the horse. Not saying I'm using the horse, but I get it. I think if you want to try to get crazy underneath, this one makes a lot of sense. By the way, as you were talking, holy shit, Modern Games looks outstanding on the screen right now.
Yeah, he does. I just keep the camera on him. Camera guy. I wish I was the producer, the director.
That
of
is
the truck. I'd say just. Wow.
I don't know how he runs, but you can't look any better than that.
He looks so happy. Look, he almost looks like a show horse with how he's prancing those front hoofs there too.
He absolutely does, and he's looking around like, oh yeah, I remember this place. I've been here before. Boy, he was good. He's up to 2-5 now too. So look, if you like to bet wins and you say, I just hate these exactas, he's one click away from where you could maybe. He's not for me to bet a win on, but maybe you could bet a win on him. Man, he looks good.
I saw Catherine Page brought up paddock analysis. No one asked for. We appreciate it. We do. Aaron and I are just going to sit here and drool all over Modern Games, so somebody needs to look at the other 7 horses in here. Catherine says Emmanuel looks like a classic cranked Pletcher horse. Not saying he's beating Modern Games, but I will say I know that both Shapper Capper, Scott Shapiro, and Jeremy Plonk, they both went with Emmanuel over Modern Games in this spot. you're getting 11-1 on Emmanuel. I don't know if you'll ever get 11-1 on this horse in a grade 1 again until he gets to the Breeders' Cup. But the 1-2 straight at Tampa, then went to Gulfstream, can take his game on the road. Definitely is also won at Belmont in his turf debut. Really, you scratch off that Saratoga Derby effort, and this horse has done nothing wrong on turf. Can you fault someone for wanting to try to beat Modern Games to win when he's 2-5 and Emmanuel's 11-1?
If you're betting Emmanuel at 11-1, I have no way to argue it. He should not be 11-1. And I love Modern Games more than anybody, or not, maybe not more, but as much as anybody. But if you want to take a shot at the Emmanuel, 11-1 is a great price. I cannot tell you not to do that. I'm not going to do it, but I can't tell you not to do it because he is in great form and he has a pace advantage, you would think. So 11-1 makes sense here if you want to try to play him. Again, I'm not going to do it, but I don't really hate that you try it. As far as what she said about Modern Games, or not Modern Games, Emmanuel and how he looks, it seems like I'm always around when he runs. I've seen him in person 2 or 3 times. He is a very attractive horse. He's always good looking horse. Big brown horse, looks really, really good.
Yeah, we've been lucky. We saw him there at Del Mar, and we cheered when he won. And then we saw him last year at Keeneland, and that Keeneland effort, what I thought was even better just because of how he had to split horses and keep going. By the way, I noticed this too. I was so in love with Modern Games, I didn't notice no white saddle cloths. Aaron, they're red, so we can at least see that the white numbers will stand out better against them. So that'll help us out a little bit here.
Yeah, still going to be tough, but it's you can see them a lot better out on the track now. You kind of know who they are. Wow, up to the mark is 7-2. I just glanced up and saw. Wow.
Why is that?
IRAD, I think. I think they're betting. They see 2 Pletchers and they both have won a couple of races, and IRAD's on this one. I think that's what it is. But maybe up to the mark wins, but no way should be 7-2. No way.
No. And it's a little interesting to me. I understand why he's got them out now, but Javier Castellano is aboard Emmanuel, the other Pletcher. When Flavian Pratt you would think would a lot of times get that. He's on Chez Pierre, but Castellano has ridden Emmanuel both of his starts earlier this year, so you have to respect Pletcher giving him the mount to keep going. Actually, the only time this horse has lost on turf was when Flavian Pratt was riding the Saratoga Derby. So, not saying Pratt was the reason he lost that race.
Yeah.
The Nation's Pride was unstoppable. By the way, Nation's Pride, Charlie Appleby horse, grade 1 winner.
Yep. Yeah, Nation's Pride came over there and looked really good that day at Saratoga. Oh, what a day that was! I was there, Magic.
Jared asked, what if Modern Games isn't ready or cranked up fully? You never know without really being part of things. But I'll go back to the stats that Chris Manella was dropping earlier. Like Charlie Appleby doesn't send them here, and he sure as hell doesn't put them in the gate unless they're absolutely going to be ready to roll. The 14 of 17 wins in grade 1s and 17 wins in 31 starts with a $3 ROI. I understand the question. It's a valid question specifically for me, Aaron, with this trainer, with Charlie Appleby. Yeah, I got to believe he's fully cranked. I trust Charlie Appleby more than any other trainer.
Yeah, I totally agree. He might not be cranked up, but he might also be cranked up, so hard to say.
Just saw that. He is a sweaty boy on the neck, number 2. Up to the mark. That's what you want to see when you're betting a horse down from 10-1 to 4-1 against Modern Games, is all that sweat just coating his neck. My goodness.
Mm-hmm.
Oof.
I got to comment on this because this is hilarious. He says, Aaron, don't feel bad. You have a flow rhythm. The first 3 weeks of the month, you're hot. Then you flatten out. So far, this year has been better. There's no pattern to any of this. It's racing. There are days I'm not going to do well. There are days I'm going to do very well. There is no, you're good the first 3 weeks. You're good. Whatever. That is not a thing. Trust me on that. I keep track of this better than anybody because I keep track of all of them. It's racing. There's days that my opinion is going to be right. There's days they're going to be wrong. When you load up with 10 horses and you're picking 1 or 2 of them, you got a 10 or 20% chance to hit them. So that's just how it goes.
All right, we're heading into the gate here. 0 minutes to post. I'm going to go with a 7-4 exact. I'll trust in Emmanuel here. You're going to go 7-5?
Yeah, I went 7-5, and that's just kind of my thing. I just think this Dr. Zip is the horse that's ready for this and going to improve. So we'll see. Here we go.
7-4 and 7-2 paying the same 6-1 exact to 7-5 paying 7-1. Well, all right. Emmanuel jumped and hopped and he's last out of the gate. I'm real glad that I bet that exacta. Okay.
And that is the problem when you play horses based on trips. And it wasn't just playing it on him. I mean, he's been really good, but God, when those gates open, you just never know, right? And that's terrible because I thought he was had a real shot.
Interesting here. Shea Pierre, of course, takes the lead. Dr. Zemf sitting right off of him and actually pressed him into the turn, kind of made Flavien Prat turn up the speed a little bit, 23-3. I expect they'll slow it down here, but there is a lot of horse under Tyler Gaffalione, it looks like. The 8 Cabo Spirit, we didn't give any chance. He's a California horse. He's in third. Big gap back to Modern Games, and Dr. Zemf just skyrocketed. I think you're going to see Modern Games start to go after him because that was an early move from Tyler.
Well, I've got a 7-5 exacta that's large, and I'm worried. Okay, can you catch this 5 if you're the 7? Modern Game's got to get going.
He is, and Buick's trying to get him going. He's scrubbing pretty good on him. He hasn't made up much ground yet. The 5, he took a breather in the turn
He's
there.
coming back.
Yeah.
Well, this is going to get
Modern Games is not going to get there, at least from here. He's not coming.
How about a little
Shea
5 throwing in the anchor? How weird is this race?
This is and Cabo Spirit in second.
What in the world?
Look at the fractions, by the way. From 3/4 to 7/8, he went 11 flat. Modern Games for second. He got up for second there by a little bit, but boy, 3-7 exacta. That's gonna be a nice pit. By the way, course record 133-2.
That's the oddest race I've ever seen, I think.
If you thought Shea Pierre was winning, you thought he was going to go gate to wire, not get past and distance going into the turn and then re-break and get by.
Yeah, exactly. And
you didn't call shit. Get out of here. You said he was losing. You didn't give us the winner. That doesn't count.
Well, yeah, there's 2. Wow, he did get up for second. He ran pretty well to get up for second there. Yeah, there's two sides of it. Beating a strong favorite and then picking the right horse. Like I said, I'm not. If the 3 goes gate to wire, I'm not really shocked. Did he kind of go gate to wire, though? He just let the 5 do whatever and then came back. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean.
That's a weird one.
Wow.
Swing, swing, tempo.
I got to use both of those in the same hour-and-a-half long live show. That's. Yeah. Wow. Was it stakes record? I couldn't hear. I heard record. I couldn't hear if it was stakes or track.
See, when
crazy.
When 5 made the move, I thought the 5 is going to be rough to beat. I mean, I thought it's coming in 5-7.
Mm-hmm.
And then when he just stopped, I'm like, well, now what? That's crazy.
Oof. Hey, by the way, congrats to Nick Feldman for listening to John White from the Kentucky Derby podcast last year. Back wheel the exacta there. Put the favorite underneath with who you like on top. Wow. I still can't get over how much that horse just exploded. Holy shit.
I can't believe the 7 got up for second. I thought he was just spinning his wheels.
Yeah, well, I think Cabo Spirit was in second until late. I think that's partly how he was able to get up for second. Up to the mark, it's third, but again, that was who Modern Games just barely edged out there. Boy, the rare time Charlie Appleby doesn't get a grade 1 win.
Yeah,
in America, and with that horse, that's wow.
You hate to see Emmanuel lose all chance. That would have been, I think he would have been up there in that pace part of it, or at least right there. Mm-hmm. So that's tough. Yeah, Dr. Zip. I don't know what happened there. That was a crazy race. We've had back-to-back nutty races.
3-7 exacta paying a 22-1. 22-1 on that one for you, Nick Feldman. Good job.
Very good.
Very $110? Yeah, Very nice. Jared chiming in. What just happened? I don't know.
I'm not sure. And again, like you said, if the 3 is gate to wire the whole way. You get it. It's like, yeah, well, like, pace, and that pace makes the race a lot of times. That happened. But the weirdness of that was the flip-flopping.
I know it didn't work out for him, and he threw in the anchor hard, like he said in the stretch. I don't hate the move from the 5. I understand what Tyler was doing. He was sensing the pace, and he knew he had to beat Modern Games somehow. So, it was almost like a Mike Smith mid backstretch move that he is known for doing in a big race, where you get the jump on them well before they think you're going to go. He trusted he had the horse. The horse just didn't trust him back.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think I was with you. I thought, well, he's season control. He's getting the jump on him. He's going to try to move early here, but able to hold him off this way. He probably just didn't respect that the 3 would come back on him. Of course, hell, everybody came back on him. He totally stopped. I saw Michael saying maybe he bled, but that's possible. But he's been running overseas.
He's never had Lasix, I don't think, right? At least not for the Breeders' Cup.
I don't. No, we're talking about
Wait, could he?
We're talking about the 5.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought he was talking about the 7.
I don't know. Weird. Really weird. Whatever happened to him, he was done.
Yeah, I mean, so to that point, the 5 was on Lasix when he had that allowance win, that
Yeah.
one start in North America before coming over to this race. Wow.
Crazy.
Yeah, I'm much more in shock than I was after that dirt race. This one I'm at least impressed with because it was a track record. It took a track record or stakes record effort to beat Modern Games, but woof. All right. Well, let me ask you this: does this affect? Because I see a couple people saying on to tomorrow. We'll look ahead to Saturday at Keeneland. Do you have any concerns with how the racing went, the results went, maybe how your handicapping went today? Any concerns for tomorrow, or you think this is just, a couple of these spots, you just didn't have it, move on to the next day?
When the gates open, you never know. No, it doesn't carry day to day. That isn't a thing. You have to play your opinion. Well, what about the first race when I had the try and had it cold? And then the next 2 races, it's not good. And you're like, oh, well, I got to change everything. And this is all weird. No, they're horses. They open the gate. You got to just play your opinions, and you got to hope those opinions are right. We're on to tomorrow. Doesn't really matter. I mean, what happened today has no effect on tomorrow whatsoever. I heard people saying, oh, you can't play, closers on the turf. Well, Love Reigns was closing on the turf with all kinds of problems and won. So it is what it is, I can't explain the 8th or the 9th race, but there's nothing I could do to change that, So you never know. 10th race may hammer it. Who knows?
Well, looking ahead to tomorrow, we got you well covered over at racingdudes.com. We have got the Lexington Stakes Day betting Bible, full picks and analysis and tickets, exactly what Aaron and Jared will play. They start with a $300 bankroll each, and then they let you know race by race. Do I like it? Here's what I'll play. What I really love about this that's different from the wagering guys that we used to have, Aaron, I love that you guys will just say, if you don't have an opinion or Goodnight Owl is going to be 1-5, she might win. There's no value to play in that. And so you get that information. And so this is how I think you're taking people to the next step, right? In terms of ticket structure and how you bet your opinions. You don't bet every race. You tell people when they email us, don't bet every race. It's not how you're going to win in horse racing. You've got to press those opinions. So you've got some big opinions tomorrow. Tell me a little bit about the betting Bible before we get out of here.
Yeah, so look, I mean, we'll tell you exactly what we're doing, and you can follow it, or you could kind of stray away from it or whatever. And so, but if you're kind of a newer or you're not great with how to bet, or maybe not how to bet, but how exactly to structure a kind of a game plan, it's there for you. So that's kind of what we wanted to do. We wanted to have a product where you buy it. This is it. This is what we're betting. Win or lose, it's there, And, if we covered today, we may have lost. So that's how it goes, though. It's racing, but at least you know exactly what we like. Very, very strong opinion in a couple of races. We both have strong opinions in a couple of races late on that Keeneland card. We'll be live tomorrow. We'll be talking all about those, I'm sure, as well. So not quite as big a weekend as what we've had. Kind of like this card about as good as anything we've had, though. So when it comes to betting, I will not get a lot of sleep tonight. I'm pretty excited for tomorrow, and I think, like I said, we've got some strong opinions.
Yep. And by the way, speaking of tomorrow, we'll have another one of these live shows. So we'd love to have you come back and join us. We're going to start slightly different time tomorrow. We got a 1:30 Pacific, 4:30 Eastern post time for our show. But we've got all 3 stakes at Keeneland. We'll be covering the Giants Causeway, which is that massive overdrawn turf sprint for the males, kind of like the Limestone we saw earlier today for the fillies. We also have the Stone Street Lexington Stakes. That is the final Kentucky Derby prep race. I know Aaron's got a very big opinion on a horse he loves in that race, so we'll tune in and see if we can get that horse home. And then also the Jenny Wiley Stakes ends things over at Keeneland. We also have the Apple Blossom and the Count Fleet Sprint at Oaklawn. We won't be live for the Apple Blossom, but the Count Fleet Sprint will be right in between Giants Causeway and Lexington, so plenty of content there. And hey, maybe if we get extra bored, we can talk about the Tessio Stakes too if you want. That's a Preakness Stakes winning year, and I know people laugh and roll their eyes. It is a winning year for the Preakness, so you will see at least one horse out of there at least qualify for the Triple Crown Trail. So got that going for you. And as Jared said, monster double pending, so watch out for that. Go check out the Racing Dudes Betting Bible. It's right here on the screen. Go check it out. If you have any subscription to our premium products at racingdudes.com, you get this and every betting Bible for free, or I should say included with your membership there. And we are less than a month away from the Kentucky Derby. So if you join now, if you haven't yet, say you want to get the Lexington Day Betting Bible, get yourself a premium subscription to Aaron's products, to the Rockets, to the Somobombs, because you're going to get this Bible and the Kentucky Derby Bible both. That's a great value. So go check that out. Aaron, thanks for joining me. I appreciate it. I don't know if I could have handled today on my own. I had a lot better time last Friday on my own from a betting and handicapping perspective. This time didn't go so well for me. But thanks for joining me. I'm looking forward to seeing you and the rest of you here tomorrow for Racing Dudes Live. For Aaron Haltman, Jared Welch, Mike Somich, I'm Magic. We'll see everybody. Oh, I'm on the wrong brand here. I got to spin my wheels for 5 more seconds, pull up the right video. We'll see you guys next time. Thanks a lot. RacingDudes.com is your home for the best free picks for every race, every track across the country. We're ramping up for the 2023 Kentucky Derby, and we want you to join us in the fun. Subscribe to Racing Dudes YouTube channel and click the notification bell so you never miss a single video. Want to make money betting horses? Bet with the Racing Dudes.